Welcome to Dynamo's Dozen, the podcast that we bring you each and every single week, where we talk about whatever may be on our minds, from pro wrestling, sports, entertainment, music, movies, muesli, fresh socks and jocks, and everything in between. Never forgetting the white powder, which is talc, you dirty motherfuckers. Welcome once again to Dynamo's Dozen with me, your host, and my wonderful co-host. I am Ian Dynamo Kelly, of course. And we've got the shopkeeper, Niall Hogan, in situ in his lovely lair that is both Liverpool and pro wrestling orientated. What more could you want if you're not a Liverpool fan and a pro wrestling fan, that is? Niall, how are we on this lovely sunny last time we spoke, we had a lovely sunny day too, but the two of us are still at the tail end of a bit of the old hay fever. It's not from talc before any of you start, thinking out loud.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Gradually getting over it now, so I'm there or thereabouts. Feel a bit more alive this week, all right. Looking forward to the show, and I suppose we should say a big thank you to our viewers and subscribers from last week who absolutely blew the episode out of the atmosphere. Thank you so much for your support. We greatly appreciate it that you appreciate our efforts. So more of the same this week, hopefully.
Absolutely. So be sure to smash that bell notification, hit the like button, do comment and subscribe, because that's going to help us absolutely tenfold. And the two of us were actually in awe, because the last three shows we've done, we were at 230 or 250. And then literally 4 days ago, there's one which was on the second last one we did was on 450. And then the last one, which is only 2 days ago, as we record, has hit well over the 1,000 mark. So it's amazing to get that level of support, especially when you're not getting kind of big names on and stuff for interviews and stuff. So it shows that a lot of the people that have been with us from the start are here, and that's why we're going to be bringing a lot more regular content rather than the one show per week. Now you're going to see a lot more of these little wrestling news shows, but we're still going to be bringing a couple of little surprises for you here and there. This week as well, myself and Niall are going to have the great Finlay Martin on again as well. So I'm sure you'll all be looking forward to that. It's always great when Finn comes on for his quarterly appearance on the Dozen, as he has done for the last number of years. So, absolutely fantastic. Niall, there's only really one place to start the day, out of respect.
Absolutely.
Very strange. We are going to try and bring kind of good and bad news this week, because last week it was kind of a little bit heavy for some people, possibly because of the subject matter. So we're going to have good and bad news on this, depending on people's point of view. Some people might fucking find it hilarious. I don't know, but I don't know everybody that watches the show. I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for everyone on this, and I can certainly speak for myself and Niall. The passing of Tim White and Dave Hebner, two old school referees and two absolutely fabulous referees, and from what I hear, two fabulous guys as well. So Niall, that was a tough one, wasn't it? The two within the space of a couple of days.
Two refs in 3 days. What, I mean, how could you? I couldn't believe it. And actually, when I got sent the Tim White one, it had a headline in it, referee passes away, and I thought it was a write-up about Dave when I clicked into it. And when I clicked into it, it was Tim White, and I couldn't believe it, But everyone knows both of these guys. I mean, the Hebners are legendary in this business. And there was lovely comments left on about David from Bryan. His I'm not sure if Bryan is his son or his nephew. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure. Is Bryan Earl's son?
Bryan is his nephew. I think he's Earl's son. Yeah.
Earl's son. Yeah. So Bryan, who put out some nice stuff there and stuff like that, as should be, and Earl as well. So yeah, sad to see them both go. They were both characters in the business, especially Tim White. Tim White is legendary, has legendary stories in the business, all the way back to Andre the Giant. People
thought he died years ago after he killed himself in the bar, if you remember, with the which was a great storyline. I actually had the pleasure of getting in an email chat with Tim probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
and he was actually talking about coming on the show, but I think he may have been going through a bit of stuff back then.
Okay.
And that's kind of where we left it at the time, which is sometimes, I suppose, as a content creator, Niall, you know that you're reaching out to so many people, and you kind of, it gets lost in the fodder of it all. So, but came across as an absolute gentleman. Thanked me for wishing, for reaching out and even wanting to be a part of the show. So
I'd say he would have been a brilliant guest, because he would have had some amazing stories, I'd imagine. Like
especially with Andre, yeah.
I'd say he could have kept you going for 2 to 3 hours, maybe, with stories and stuff like that. So pity that you missed out. But as we know, as content creators, the cycle just keeps on rolling, the wheel just keeps on turning, and you just move from guest to guest and from episode to episode, and sometimes you don't get a chance to look back.
Yeah. But definitely 100% shout out to condolences and thoughts and prayers with both families. Yeah. I saw Brett put up a touching tribute there of himself with the two of them in a ring, kind of recent enough, which was nice to see after all that.
Yeah.
The stuff that weighed so heavy, I suppose, on poor old Earl as well. They were, so 100%. I suppose
El Brett, before we get on, El Brett, he's very forgiving in his old age now, isn't he? He's very accommodating. It's great to see it. It's great to see it. Like,
he's just having fun, isn't he?
Flushed all that bitterness away now, and he's accommodating everyone, and it's great to see it.
It's 100. It's great, and karma is such a wonderful thing, because you can see he's getting the props for everything, all the good that he's done in the wrestling business now. You know what I mean? You can see people that may have had some negative stuff to say in the past coming out and going, he's a different guy now. So
got that good karma going on. That's what you want.
Good karma, 100%. Well, if anyone deserves it, it's that family and himself, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. I suppose let's read something that really hit me by surprise. If I'm being honest, I've the two of us are big Nature Boy fans. Woo, 100%.
Absolutely.
This man just is literally the epitome of thou shalt not die. And I don't mean that saying that in bad taste about what was just spoken about, but I mean as a character. So I don't want anyone to think I'm saying that in any bad taste, with the two refs that passed. I'm just talking about the character and just the persona of Ric Flair. It just won't go away. It will not die. Ric Flair's last match, which I didn't even know he was having a last match, I only found this out today, was moved to an over 7,000 seat Nashville Municipal Auditorium. So it's been moved to Nashville. I mean, what a place. If you're going to have a last match, that's the place, right? Go territory on it. The following press release was issued this morning, and I quote, Ric Flair's last match moving to the Nashville Municipal Auditorium. Additional tickets go on sale Friday, the 24th of June at ricflairslastmatch.com. There's a website. After selling out the Nashville Fairgrounds in less than 24 hours, Jim Crockett Promotions' Ric Flair's last match will be moving to the over 7,000 seat Nashville Municipal Auditorium. Ric Flair's last match, produced by Tuzio, a Thriller company. With Thriller have done all the boxing stuff that we've seen with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. And streaming worldwide exclusively on Fight, will be held at 5:05 p.m. Central Time, and then 6:05 Eastern Time, I believe, on Sunday, July the 31st. The additional tickets starting at $39 for Ric Flair's, because we have a lot of American listeners, so this is good information, I suppose. The additional tickets starting at $39 plus for Ric Flair's last match go on sale at noon on Friday, June 24th at ricflairslastmatch.com. So that's if we were in America, we would be there. That's for sure. So this is a quote. On July 31st, I'm still going to walk that aisle and style and profile as only I can. But now a bigger crowd, brighter lights. The Nature Boy can't wait to do what I do best. Woo, said the 16-time professional wrestling champion and cultural icon Ric Flair. Like so many times before, having Ric Flair's name on the marquee has the wrestling world buzzing, said Jim Crockett Promotions president David Crockett. On Sunday, July 31st, we look forward to bringing the fans at Nashville Municipal Auditorium and a worldwide audience a night of professional wrestling that they will never forget. When we announced that StarCast was coming back with our partner Tuzio, we knew the last weekend of July was going to be a celebration for wrestling fans. The party's main event has now moved to a bigger room, said StarCast and ad-free shows co-founder and friend of Dynamo's Dozen, Conrad Thompson. There will still be numerous events and experiences happening throughout the weekend at the National Fairgrounds, who've been wonderful to work with. However, the demands for Ric Flair's last match to move to a bigger venue was one we couldn't ignore due to the overwhelming demand by fans to be in the building for Ric Flair's last match. We have made the decision to move this once-in-a-lifetime show to the Nashville Municipal Auditorium, said Jared Augustine, CEO of Tuzio. Never heard of them, but they're obviously a big deal. Once the initial batch of tickets at the Nashville Fairgrounds went so quickly, our team immediately started to look for a bigger venue, and the Nashville Auditorium is an ideal situation. Current ticket holders' seats will still be honoured, and communication on the changes will be emailed to them this week. So this is where, Conrad, you can thank me for this. For more information on Jim Crockett Promotions' Ric Flair's last match and to join the ticket waitlist, visit www.ricflairslastmatch.com, which I'm sure was set up by you, Conrad. And for more information on StarCast 5, visit www.starcast.com. So, lot to divulge there with that. So it's obviously good old Conrad Thompson, Connie, as JR likes to call him. I do apologize for the block nose guys. I said hay fever in Ireland's a big thing. Yeah, a lot to bite into there, Niall. Yeah, I mean, what do you say?
I kind of don't know where you begin with this, because one, I don't believe it's his last match.
That's kind of where, yeah, it's like Kiss, isn't it? Like, how many comeback tours have Kiss had?
His last match to me was WrestleMania 24 against Shawn Michaels, and that's where it should have stayed. And my biggest problem with it is that, if I thought this was actually going to be his last match, and we've been to this a few times now, I'd go on and buy a ticket rather than going, just to have that ticket of his last match with the Jim Crockett Promotion stuff on it and all the other stuff on it would be the coolest ticket in the world to look back at in 20 years time and go, well, look at this. Even if I wasn't there, just to have that ticket.
Good show.
But yeah. I just I don't believe it's his last match. I just don't believe it. Like, because I just think he's one of those guys. Like, I mean, when you think about guys who potentially might die in the ring, this is one of these guys, isn't it? But like, he just it puts the fear of God in me. But
he would probably want to. That would probably be his, where he's most comfortable. But for the rest of us, that's not what we want to see.
No, but I just think with him, I just think it's one of those things that it's like you're rolling the dice a bit, aren't you? And it's, this is a guy who was on death's door 2-3 years ago or whatever it was, in hospital and stuff like that and all. And I seen him at WrestleCon, and I seen him at the Mania pre-party when I was over there, and like he's getting on, the tan is dripping off him, the suits don't fit the way they used to. He is getting on, and I don't know whether I want to see Ric Flair kind of like with that shape and all that kind of thing in a set of trunks, dropping elbows, dropping knees, knee pads, all that kind of stuff. I love the guy. It's one of my all-time favorites. Everyone I think who knows me knows that I've a great collection of Ric Flair stuff, and I just think I don't know what to think of it. You know what I mean? It puts the fear of God in me. Even contemplating watching it puts the fear of God in me, because I just know eventually something like this is going to happen, and it's just going to be heartbreaking.
Well, look, now that Niall's got all the negativity out of the way, I'm just looking forward to the event. Listen, anytime, I mean, the intrigue gets me. Look, Conrad is obviously a businessman, but it's also his father-in-law, and he absolutely idolizes him. I don't think Conrad would allow him to go out and do a 60-minute Broadway. the interesting thing is like who's gonna be the dance partner. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna bring, you've seen him and Ricky Morton going around these comic cons and doing a little bit of chain wrestling and stuff, and you see Rick in the ring with a couple of the younger guys and stuff.
Yeah, he's training a lot with Jay Lethal and all, isn't he?
Yeah,
so training a lot with Jay Lethal. And in fairness, the training looks good. He's taking the bumps and the hip tosses and all that kind of stuff. So and you know in his mind, he's not going to let you down. He's going to show up and put on the best show he can, because that's the only way he knows. But it's not a negative thing. It's more a concern thing, that kind of way.
I'm just saying it. I'm just busting your balls. I'm just busting your balls. But I think it's like,
it's your side of this podcast that encourages these guys to do these things. Whereas I would be there going, please don't do it. You're a legend. You have your legacy. You don't need it. The money isn't all that. Let's be honest. It isn't all that to the point where you got to do this, where you're there going, yeah, come on, bring on the Nature Boy. I love him. Come on.
Because like I think it'll be like a safe little thing, and it's kind of like, look, I don't know. I mean, look, I guess I'm just a stickler for. I mean, I'm just off the back of a live Iron Maiden show, but then again, these boys are still running around like they're 20, even though they're in their 60s. But it's like, I love that Kiss comeback show every 5 years, even though they've retired 20 years ago. It's kind of like with Flair, you knew it was always going to happen. And I think with the latest divorce, it proves one thing to me, that the man has only ever been married to one thing, and that's the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
So why not let him renew and end his vows all in the one night? And just let him get it out of his system.
Do you know what's concerning as well? The location as well. That Nashville crowd, they're bloodthirsty. They're bloodthirsty wrestling fans. They want their piece of flesh when they go to a show and stuff like that. What do you think of the location?
It's going to be him and Hogan, isn't it?
I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I think it'll probably be. Do you know who I think it'll probably be? Probably Sting.
We both said it at the same time.
Yeah, it probably has to be Sting. My preference, obviously, but I don't think it can happen because I don't think he's in a position to do it. Maybe he could, I don't know, but Ricky Steamboat, but I don't think Ricky. I don't think he could potentially do it. But if he could, I mean, Steamboat Flair one more time in any guys.
Yeah,
man, you'd nearly jump on a plane to do that, wouldn't you?
Well, now let's keep up to date with this story. So.
Yeah, we'll keep our eye on it, but of course, our viewers, let us know in the comments what you think.
Yeah.
Does this put the fear of God in you, or are you just like energized by it? I'm sure, like I'm somewhere in between. I love him. I love to see him perform. I like nothing more than to see him in the ring and pulling promos and stuff like that. But just when is enough?
Yeah. I'm kind of all for it, and I hope I don't regret that. Be the one playing. I'm as guilty as Conrad. Then he'd be like, "How much is Conrad paying you, Dynamo?" But look, it was definitely newsworthy, and we had to bring it up. Why don't you go through the next story? Obviously, we have some backstage news involving the big pay-per-view this weekend.
This is the Bryan Danielson, is it? His status. Yeah, he hasn't been medically cleared, apparently, according to Dave Meltzer and stuff like that. They haven't divulged what the injury is. But if it's keeping Bryan Danielson out of a New Japan AEW crossover show as big as this, if it potentially keeps him out, it must be something reasonably serious, I would imagine. So yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on it at the moment. There isn't a whole lot of detail out there about it.
And it's a pity as well, isn't it? Because the planned match was him and my old Hammerlock boy, the one and only Zack Sabre Jr., which, man, I'd have paid serious money to watch that match.
Yeah,
serious money to watch that match.
It's interesting you talk about that, because my first time seeing Zack Sabre Jr., I think, was in a show. I'm not sure whether it was the Wolftown or Ballywaltram. I'm not too sure. It was
Ballywaltram. It was Bray against Lee Flynn.
Yes, and he was absolutely outstanding. And I was coming home in the car tonight thinking about the show tonight and stuff like that. And I was trying to recollect. I was trying to convince myself again that he was an NWA boy, he was an Andre boy and stuff like that and all. Yeah, and he's absolutely outstanding. And the thing about it is, if you do have an injury, if it's kind of serious, he's not the boy you want to be getting in the ring with either, because he does not. He puts the pro in wrestling, but my God, that guy is a technician and a half. That guy will stretch you inside out and make you pray that you're dead.
And he does not hold back on forearms or chops or kicks.
Anything. He'll put your body in positions you didn't realize it could.
Yeah. Funny enough, our paths never crossed in the ring. Funny enough, even though we came from the same.
Thank God, says you.
He was a little bit younger. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, well, in there with fucking Balor, which is probably worse. But I don't know which is worse, or Mossy. But Sabre, definitely like absolute unbelievable talent, and I think it's going to be great for the American audience to see him. It's very unfortunate with this event. We will get into the event next, actually. It's probably a good segue. Yeah. Very unfortunate that we're probably not going to have Bryan Danielson and CM Punk on this event, because I mean, it would have been tailor-made for those two when it was first announced, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
And I'm sure the two boys were really looking forward to it as well. But look, maybe Danielson, maybe there's still a window for him. I don't know, but I mean, like we always say on the show, health first. And
card subject to change.
Card subject to change, yeah. But yeah, let's go and look through Forbidden Door. Obviously, AEW versus All Japan Forbidden Door. It's obviously this Sunday, June 26th, from the United Center in Chicago. Going to be an absolute raucous crowd there. And obviously the card up to now, because it is subject to change, as we always like to say. Yeah. But up to this point, looks like a fucking fairly interesting card, actually, to me anyway. The interim world championship match, AEW championship match, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Jon Moxley. Now that classic intrigues me to no end, and I'll tell you, it wouldn't have done pre rehab Jon Moxley, and again, I don't mean that in any disrespectful way at all, but Moxley, like you mentioned on a previous show, has really done a lot to start loving his craft again, I suppose, and loving himself, which probably sounds a little bit hokey, but
I think in fairness to him, even pre-rehab, when he was wrestling with the Japanese guys and when he was doing his work in New Japan, he was still always on point as well, because there was always a level of respect there with him in terms of those boys and stuff like that.
I agree with that.
So yeah, I think this is going to be a fantastic match, and I tell you, it's going to be interesting to see Moxley in this match post rehab and how he has been doing so well and what kind of a performance he puts in and stuff like that. But certainly it's a top billing there, to say that,
because this is going to be a wrestling match. Like, this is this is the Japanese excellence of execution going against the kind of the Stan Hansen brawler, if you will. You know what I mean? Man, this is a good one. And imagine there was a little spanner in the works where you saw someone like Tanahashi winning the AEW interim title, and a little bit more of a relationship going on with New Japan. I think this is intriguing, man. I'm very excited for this show, and I'm very excited for what Tony Khan is doing with New Japan, to be fair. I think it only helps both of their causes, really, doesn't it?
With here's one for you, I suppose, to think about. With Bryan Danielson potentially out and with CM Punk out, does this open the door for MJF to get involved here somewhere and lay down a marker or something like that? I was just thinking about it today. I was looking down through the card. It's really, really solid and really, really good. But there's a couple of little ins there where he could show up and stick his nose in and get involved. And
there's one right there.
Could be really interesting.
Yeah. The next one, AEW's Women's Championship match, Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa.
Excellent.
Good old friend of the show, Rosa, who's really come a long way.
Yeah.
Why don't you call us anymore, Thunder? Come on. God's sakes. Remember where you got your start.
It's reverse charges now. It's reverse charges. No, she's doing absolutely fabulous.
Knocking it out of the park.
Fair play to her. She's a beautiful girl and she's a fantastic talent. And we wish her all the success in the world. And she's going up against Toni Storm, who I would imagine has a point to prove. And wants to put a performance out there. Who's absolutely a fantastic wrestler as well. And I think this is a really good one as well when we talk about styles make matches and stuff like that. This is really, really good because we know Toni as well. She's quite versed in the British style and stuff like that. It's kind of where she cut her teeth and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think this could be interesting when the match is up against Rose's style. So yeah, really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that's a hell of a match actually. The IWGP United States Championship match. This is one that I find very strange. Freshly squeezed fucking Orange Cassidy.
He will be.
Sorry, I put the fucking in there, but versus Will fucking Ospreay. There you go. So I'm not biased. This is what. Now look. We know Cassidy can go. Like in terms, he's very athletic and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So. I expect a lot of athleticism and a very, very fast-paced, I suppose, it'd be a spot fest, but I mean, it'd be one that's probably easy on the eye, I would imagine, because Will Ospreay, in fairness, I'd probably had dialogue with him maybe fucking 6 months ago or something, maybe just during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And in fairness, we tried to get him on the show, and he was actually very polite about it, said, you know, look, I appreciate the offer, but I actually don't do media at the moment. And he doesn't do a lot of it, to be fair to him. So I always kind of respected that. I respect people that are just straight up and honest about things like that. So shout out to Will Ospreay there. And he's a big boy at the moment, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Big boy.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't know. This one will be probably just a crowd pleaser, I suppose. It'd be...
Yeah, this one is one that you look at it on the face of it and you go, and then you kind of, if you look deeper into it and you think, well, if we get the Orange Cassidy that raised his game that time when he was working with Jericho and stuff like that, and you get him against that style of Will Ospreay and stuff like that, this could be a very, very entertaining match that could surprise a lot of fans. Who are looking at this as kind of, and it's a kind of a slight to nearly call it like filler between matches and stuff like that, because it is for the IWGP United States belt, which is drenched in history and legacy. So I think it's an interesting one. I think on the face of it, people would look at it and go, but I think if you get the Orange Cassidy, the right one, and as we say, styles match these matches and stuff like that, I think it could be an exciting match. I just hope it's more kind of free flowing and stuff like that, and not too telegraphed.
Yes,
I don't want to. I know with Will Ospreay at times he's a fabulous talent. He's an unbelievable wrestler, and I've had the pleasure of watching him in real life wrestle.
Same.
At OTT shows and stuff like that. And when he's on his pomp and it's free flowing and stuff like that, and not telegraphed too much, he's fabulous to watch in real life and stuff like that. And I think right Orange Cassidy could be a belter of a match. One I'm looking forward to as well.
It's definitely looking forward to. Yeah, we've sold ourselves and now we've sold you, the listener, on this. But they were probably already sold. But there you go. Maybe your good karma as you're watching the show came into us and went,
this is the one where you don't put your hands in your pockets. This is the one where you get in there, you have an opportunity to show people what you can do.
100%. Maybe start the match out with your hands in your pockets if you want, if that's your gimmick.
Only on the entrance ramp.
Exactly. Then it's business time. Yeah. An interesting one, kind of new belt, obviously, newish anyway. AEW All Atlantic Championship, which I love all these kind of throwback belts. You know what I mean? They're throwbacks to different kind of territories and stuff. Yeah. So I do appreciate that. Miro versus Pac, who we're both big Pac fans here, and I suppose we're both big Miro fans as well to a point.
Pac was on the same show. He was on the same show we were at with Zack Sabre Jr., if you remember.
Yeah. Pac is a little beast. Versus TBD versus TBD. So for anyone that's into their acronyms, to be decided. So that'll be an interesting one there. You never know. That could be the point where you see your boy possibly, but I think he's probably aiming for bigger fish.
Possibly
MJF. So it'll be interesting to see who pops up in that. Be nice to see if I was just thinking off the top of my head, it'd be nice to see like a Jungle Boy in there or something.
You would assume that has to be a New Japan guy as well, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking there. Well,
yeah,
probably
so
two New Japan guys then.
Possibly, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, so we don't know much with that, but then we have the winner takes all for the IWGP and Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. That's interesting.
This could be your show stealer.
It could be, man. Jeff Cobb and the Great O'Khan were the champions versus FTR, who are also the champions. Obviously, different promotions. Versus Roppongi Vice. Now, you and me are both Team FTR for life, because listen, when you have Bret Hart coming out and doing bringing you to the ring as was done recently at a show, and being your manager while what's his name, Arn Anderson was in the other corner recently, which was great to see, by the way. This for me has show stealer written all over it, doesn't it?
Does, yeah, absolutely. Old school rules, doesn't it?
And what do you think of the other two tag teams?
Yeah, I mean, very good. I mean, we know a lot about Jeff Cobb and stuff like that. We know what he can do. He's an absolute monster as well. And the others speak for themselves, really. You know what I mean? I just think it'll be a belter of a match. And a good bit on the line here, you know, both sets of tag belts on the line here. So it's very, very interesting, you know.
Which definitely tells you that there's going to be a lot of these crossover kind of shows, isn't there?
Yeah, well, I think AEW has recognized. I like the direction in which this could potentially go, because
me too.
I think AEW should just forget that WWE even exists, and I think what they should do is just carve their own path by doing things like this. And I think this is what will, these kind of shows and this crossover stuff where belts are, you know, in different locations and stuff like that, and you highlight and you spotlight talent on different shows where it's mixed and stuff like that. That only benefits. Like, this is what wrestling fans, purist wrestling fans, get excited about and stuff like that. I'm very excited for this show, and you know me, I don't get overly excited about AEW. Obviously, there's elements of it that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah,
and you have to wade through it. No different than WWE, but when you get a crossover show like this, and it's great as well for the American market as well. And Chicago, what a hostile crowd they are! Absolutely, you couldn't pick a better location. And I just think it'll be electric, and that's definitely a match not to sleep on. That's going to be a serious match.
Yeah, I second everything you said. It's not often we kind of agree on absolutely everything, and we kind of go, whoa. The only thing, I suppose, before we go, actually, we'll go through the last match, and then we'll kind of talk about the missing pieces of the show, you know, the absentees, if you will. This one, if ever I've seen hard hitting, slap the shite out of you 6-man tag, this has it written all over it. Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki, and Sammy Guevara. Hell of a team, actually. Very fucking creative there, to be fair. Versus Eddie Kingston, Shota Umino. I know I'll probably get corrected on that, but look, I'm Irish. It's not my fault. And Wheeler Yuta. So you've got some hard-hitting Japanese guys in there with some very, very hard-hitting Eddie Kingstons. I just said very hard-hitting Eddie Kingstons. But as we know, Jericho, in his, I won't say his old age, but in his older years, can certainly stand toe-to-toe with the best of them when he's getting chopped or getting stiffed a little bit. We know that he likes to leave a receipt or two in there, as we saw with his match with Eddie Kingston. I think Eddie Kingston probably thought, oh shit, this 50-year-old man can still fucking hit back. And I think we saw that, didn't we, on that match on a couple of occasions.
Don't mind me. I was just checking something there. That boy Shota Umino, he wrestled yesterday down in Limerick for OTT.
Oh,
yesterday.
There we go.
Yeah, so this is a guy who loves his craft and travels plenty. So there you
go. Love it. And a good get for OTT. But
absolutely,
yeah, like Chris Jericho, man, like, I mean, there's a guy who, like, he will not be gotten the better of by anybody, right? And I think it was the first time in a while we've probably seen Eddie Kingston go, oh shit, I better lighten up here a little bit. Jericho hit him a couple of solids, and he's a big man, and also probably in his best shape that he's been in I would say, best part of a decade, to be fair to him. The Wizard leading the team of Minoru Suzuki, who's fucking.
This is the man who has the hardest back in on the planet, probably.
Who, Suzuki or Jericho?
Suzuki.
I know. And Sammy Guevara, good. Interesting to see Sammy Guevara in there as well, because I like Sammy Guevara. Yourself and myself have kind of had the jury out on Sammy Guevara for a while when he first started, didn't we? Because obviously JR, who's a man we respect a lot, has kind of always said that he sees a lot of Eddie Guerrero and Sammy Guevara, and we did see a lot of sloppiness early on with the Matt Hardy stuff, and but he's definitely come on tenfold, hasn't he? He's starting to fill out as well as body. He's starting to put a bit more meat on the bones, and he definitely has something. He has a natural charisma that kind of is a little bit similar to Eddie's, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the thing that's benefited the most is I think as he's began to work better people in the company. I think that, you know yourself, if you work with better talent, you're going to become a better talent.
Of course, man. You learn in the ring, yeah.
And certainly being around Jericho and stuff like that, I mean, look, that's going to work well for you, you know. So, this is an intriguing one. It's a 6-man. I'm surprised Tony didn't knock out the 6-man belts for this one as well, and drop another title or something like that. But no, this will be interesting. You'd expect it to. This one will give you everything really, because it'll give you the hard hitting Japanese style matchup. It'll give you the sort of American sort of slant on that as well, with Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho in there. And then you'll have a bit of you'll have a Mexican little bit of the Mexican lucha as well in there as well. So on this match here, if you think about this being a show like the old Global War show, this is going to be the match where you could have called it the Global Showdown, because you're going to get nearly a mix of nearly every style in it, right? Basically, we'll see how it comes together. Sometimes they don't always mesh together the way they should, in terms of bringing you on the journey of a match. But certainly you'll get a lot of solid work in there. There's no doubt about it, and this is one that'll be see how dynamic the fan base is, because you're going to have to keep on switching your own mode within the match and stuff like that, because when you have the likes of Suzuki in there and Umino, if that's his name, I think that's how they pronounce it, whatever way they pronounce it, and you shout to say, you know, there has to be that respect level in there for their style, Jericho style, Sammy style, and stuff like that. And also, yeah, it's an intriguing match, and it'd be interesting to see how the crowd respond to it. Good, educated Chicago wrestling crowd.
Oh, yeah. They'll let you know. They'll let you know.
Very, very quickly.
Yeah. By your entrance, they'll let you know. Notable absentees. I'm just going to fire. I didn't write these down, but they've just come to me. Adam Cole, your boy. Adam Page. Obviously, we know CM Punk is injured. Bryan Danielson, obviously injured. But no Rainmaker, which is, you know, quite a big one.
Did I read with him as his wife having a baby or something like that? Is that what we read on Okada?
Is that the case?
I'm nearly sure. Don't quote me on now, but I think that's the case. I think his wife is having a baby.
Fucking selfish woman, isn't she? Jesus Christ. That's what the Chicago crowd will be thinking.
That's a huge deal for most people, but over in Japan, that's a huge deal, having a child.
Oh,
huge.
Listen, well, as it should be, but just tell the Chicago crowd that.
Yeah.
No, I'm.
Yeah, no, I think I read something like that today. Quote, I might be wrong, but I think something has come up. Yeah.
But like I would have thought, you know, Tony would have wanted his kind of products his own guys, like, you know, Jungle Boy possibly in there somewhere. He could be part of that 4-man though, possibly.
Yeah, and so could Cole, or so could Page. I mean, like they'll figure out a way of slotting these guys in some way. I hope what happens is they don't go down the road of having to try and fit in a lot of these guys.
5-hour pre-show. That's the last thing.
Yeah, well, not even that. Not even so much a pre-show, but even, you know, if you're getting interference in every match, you know, that kind of way or stuff like that, you know. So maybe just be selective in the way you do it, you know. Look, there's nothing wrong with these guys not being on it. It doesn't devalue them in any way. It just means they'll be there next time or something like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. This is the price you pay for hiring a lot of top level talent. Not everyone can be on the show. And that's the way it is.
And that's what makes it intriguing as well, because don't forget, like when it didn't happen on Mania and all back in the day, even though they were 3-hour shows, there was always in the next time, you know what I mean? So it's you get to build certain storylines, but you also kind of you got to keep certain things, you know, hidden away so that it can happen again. You know, you don't want to.
What an opportunity it is for some of these guys, because remember, no Punk and potentially no Bryan Danielson. So if those guys aren't there, there's guys here who might not have been on this card who are now going to get a massive opportunity to absolutely push themselves out there and go, here I am, gaffer. You know, so
no Samoa Joe even as well, which is another one.
No Samoa Joe.
Kind of, so no, look, we're definitely, and again, look, it's Monday as we're recording this. It'll probably be Monday or Tuesday as this is out. Knowing Niall, he'll probably have this out pretty much.
You should be out.
After we record this.
It'll be out pretty quick, don't worry.
Be out pretty quick. But so the card is subject to change, and of course, you know, in the coming shows during the week, a lot could change. So
and I suppose if you think about what you're talking about in terms of the absentees, any of them suddenly being included or a match added only adds to the card. This is top level talent we're talking who's being left out, you know. So.
Exactly. So, but look, let's move on to a couple of other bits, Niall, that you're going to bring the level down and up at the same time, which is what people are here for.
Well, listen, I got a lot of heat last week from our viewers talking about Jeff Hardy, that I was sick of giving this guy chances and stuff like that. So they came at me.
For once, I was the good guy.
Funny, a lot of people also agreed with me as well. It was quite balanced, but it was interesting to see some people came at me about Jeff. But
Niall, don't take my babyface moment away from me now. Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was listening to Jimmy the other day and the great Brian Lass, and they were talking about, apparently everyone knows that John Laurinaitis is married to the Bella's mother, the Bella twins' mother. You can look, but you can't touch. Isn't that the theme song? But
Johnny can.
But apparently the timing of what has come out allegedly was in around the time when their mother was going through some intensive treatment for some brain issues, either brain tumor or brain cancer or something like that. And she was going through intensive treatment in around the same time, which kind of makes the situation look even worse, doesn't it? So I don't know how true this is. This is what the boys were talking about on the show the other day, so I thought I'd raise it. But it's an interesting one if that was going on.
Well, the boys are very smart in the subject matter that they talk about as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure they would have checked their stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so, yeah, but it was interesting. It just makes.
So Stephen Pinu would have work on his hands.
Yeah, but it just makes us, like, allegedly it just makes it even worse then, doesn't it? Just
you know, there was pass me downs going on apparently, and it's you know, the more you would think, I suppose, so what we spoke about like 2 days ago, like it's only escalated, and from what I've heard from a good source, we know exactly who we're talking about as well. There's been a lot of vultures out there contacting old school people who knew about the previous stuff that is going to probably it's more than likely going to come to light as well. So it's it's a very, very it's a horrible situation, but it's definitely a situation I don't think that's actually going to go away anytime soon. But you're probably going to segue into the next piece of
well, that segues us nicely into Vince's appearance on SmackDown the other night. I don't know if anyone's seen it. This guy comes out, gets an absolute amazing reception, I have to say.
Shame on you people. And you call me the bad guy.
Remember, there's an investigation on this. This has only allegedly happened. So a lot of that SmackDown crowd are staying with their man. Struts down to the ring as only he can. Walks into the ring, gives it that little shuffle that he does, picks up the mic and goes, 4 words, he says, or something like that, has brought us on this journey. And he says, then, now, forever, and most importantly, he says, together, and drops the mic and leaves. And it was just the weirdest thing ever. And I seen an article today, I didn't read it, but I must read it. It was talking about who put that segment together on SmackDown. Well, who do people think put that segment together on SmackDown? I wouldn't say that
He
took a lot
did.
of creative writing. That was him. Now, I tell you what I did think, and what I was thinking. I was coming home today in the car, and I was thinking, this guy struts down to the ring, right? Picks up the mic and goes, "Guess what I'm bringing back?" Takes the chapstick out of the pocket. Hunter and Shano, get down to this ring now. We're relaunching the Kiss My Ass Club. Can you imagine the shithousery on this man? You know what I mean? It would be incredible. He has balls of steel, doesn't he? He has balls of steel.
I was baffled. I mean, we all saw on Friday, we all got between all of the WhatsApp groups that we're involved with, between all of Twitter, between like even on my football show, the Chelsea Roar was getting, oh, did you see this? Did you see this? Guys in work that I didn't even know watch pro wrestling, but they know about Dynamos doesn't going, hey, did you see Vinnie Mac? I was like, what's going on here? Yeah. So we were thinking, is he going to come out and just, come as Mr. McMahon and say, don't believe it, all this kind of crap? No. 4 words. He worked the whole business while he's potentially going to go up against the United States courts again. Good Lord.
I'm getting to a stage with this guy that I don't know whether there's anything this man can do that can take him down. You heard in our WhatsApp groups and stuff like that, this is the end of Vince McMahon. I don't think it will be.
Could he be? Now, I'm going to be probably insensitive here to a lot of things, but look, that's what I do. And, I own it and I wear it as a badge of honor. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't obviously have fucking feelings and sympathy for things that have actually happened to people. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that because this is all alleged, by the way. So I'm not going to go sticking up for Vince McMahon here. But sometimes you'll hear me calling out the snowflake generation and the 2022 movement of like, you're just meant to believe the first thing that someone fucking says without any proof. I'm old school. I am innocent till proven guilty. And that is a thing that is put in place for a reason. Sometimes does some of the fucking slime pass through the cracks? Absolutely. We've seen it. A certain American footballer probably got away with it that played for Colorado and Denver back in the day, you know what I mean? Allegedly. But so, like, I get that. But just going on what you're going to say, like, we call it the snowflake generation, and someone's going to be offended by this, but they'll probably tune in again to see me say something again. So, I get it. I get people get offended, but they get offended for every fucking little thing. Every little thing, you know what I mean? I got called out for saying the alphabet people last week, sorry, okay, the rainbow people, whatever you want, one hand, hey, we've got a rainbow flag, and they were like, but we stand with Ukraine. And then you're going, we do realize gay marriage is illegal in Ukraine, yeah? And like, literally it's punishable under law, so like pick a side. So I have no problem owning that, and these views are my own, but that doesn't mean I don't support gay rights and pride and all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm having fun with it, but all I'm saying is lighten up a little bit. Don't get offended by everything. Now, I'm going on a tangent here, but the main point I'm going to make is the one person that could beat this woke snowflake generation going to be Vince McMahon?
No, it's not even that. I just wonder sometimes, is there anything, when you think of everything that he has fought off and you think of everything that has tried to take him down that didn't work and he found a way to get around it and all that kind of stuff, sometimes you just wonder, when you're at that level and you're so wealthy and you're so powerful and you mix it up with the power of America and stuff like that and all, is there a place that you can go to or something that can happen that you're involved in that actually will bring you down?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, like, I mean, these guys were probably more wealthy than Vince. Do you know what I mean? It's happened. And I mean, don't forget, the American government have been after this boy for a long, long time. I mean, we thought the steroid trial was it. Look, I'm going to say this again, only my views. If he is guilty of this stuff, lock the motherfucker up and throw away the key. I'm sorry, that goes for anybody. You know what I mean? if he's guilty of the accusations that have kind of come to light. That goes for anybody. And you know that, Niall, if that came out about one of our heroes or one of our idols, your respect would just be gone in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So if it is true, but it has to go through the courts and stuff like that, and we obviously have to comment on it. But I suppose the point you're making is very valid, that there's a lot of people that get away with certain stuff, but then you do look at the people that haven't got away with it. You know what I mean? They tried to go after Michael Jackson when he was dead. You know what I mean? It's it's one of those things that's very like, because look, we all know well that there are genuine victims that sometimes get hurt by the nonsensical ones that just use it as a platform. Some people that are kind of not good people then tend to use it. Case in point, the recent trial with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That's just a nasty person, Amber Heard, and she's got found out and can't accept it. And then her and her people come out and say, this has knocked back the Me Too movement so far beyond repair that women will be afraid to come out and speak out. That's utter nonsense, because women definitely know they can speak out these days, and that's how much we moved on.
I don't think any women who were involved in any situations would be using that as a test case for
exactly.
I mean, that was just I didn't follow it, but Hillary followed it like crazy.
Yeah.
That was for the bits that I did dip in and hear and stuff like that were just
but that's what I'm saying. That's case in point. I'm not here just to, I know I'm having fun and I'm probably offending people with, by saying the alphabet people and stuff like that. It's fun. Listen, I've got a lot of gayness in my family. I've got a lot of my two sisters, my uncles. It's okay. We have fun with these things. Don't get offended by every little thing. But I mean, look, the Vince McMahon stuff, these are legitimate allegations. So in no way, shape, or form are you or me or this show in any way saying, oh, defend Vince. No way are we saying that. But absolutely. It's all alleged. We don't know what's happened, and there's a reason that courts are there. So, but he could get, I don't know.
Yeah.
Would I be surprised? No. Would I believe it still possibly had a hint of truth? I plead the fifth. Guess, take from that what you will, listeners.
Yeah, well, again, let us know your thoughts in the comments, what you thought of his appearance on SmackDown. I personally would think if those kind of charges were put against me, I don't think I would be taking that approach, that brash approach. But again, I'm not Vince McMahon, so
I'd be hiding in the sauna, probably never to be found again.
Well, I suppose the flip side of it is if you do go hiding and you went away,
you look guilty.
Like a little bit of an omission of guilt and stuff like that as well, where he's rocking up to do his job. So I don't know. Listen, it's under investigation. We'll see how it pans out. But I just thought I'd touch on the SmackDown thing, because to me it just seemed very, very strange. Let's move on. Gail Kim shedded some light on her retirement. Fabulous career spanning over 18 years. What a wrestler. Unbelievable athlete. But she was saying it got to a stage after matches where she couldn't walk, and she literally had to use her luggage, nearly like walking to assist her to walk and stuff like that. And she said the icing on the cake was obviously her Hall of Fame induction and stuff like that. So obviously we wish her well in her retirement. And it was interesting. I was looking back at the highlights of Slammiversary there today, and I was looking at the women's match and stuff like that, and I'd forgotten a lot of this happened, and I was looking at the mix of the women's match, and I was going, it was so weird, no Velvet Sky, no Gail Kim, no Victoria, all those girls who were in there that really put TNA on the map and stuff like that. So interesting it was. But we wish her well in her retirement, and fabulous wrestler, fabulous athlete, great career, fantastic career. Recent episode of the Gentleman Villain podcast. Shout out to the podcast. Really, really good podcast. I'd urge our viewers to go check it out. William Regal was a guest on it recently, and he insisted that his relationship with Vince McMahon was nothing but positive. And they obviously asked him about his relationship with Vince, and obviously being let go from the company and stuff like that. And he made a comment which I thought was a really, really good comment. It shows the absolute the cleverness of the man and how intelligent he is. He said, although he was friends with Vince McMahon, he said he never got too close to him. And he said the reason he never got too close to him is he knew that day would eventually come. And that shows the intelligence of William Regal, really. You know what I mean? That his intelligence for the business is unbelievable.
He's an old school shark. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was great to hear that. Just a little interesting point there. But check him out on that Gentleman Villain podcast. Definitely worth a listen. When William Regal speaks, like ourselves, everyone should listen.
Yeah.
Lastly, I suppose let's finish on a positive note. John Cena, our guy, us two, both huge fans of this man, has broken through the 650 ceiling of granting wishes. He is the epitome of Mr. Make-A-Wish, without a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely fabulous human being.
Many is it now in total?
I don't know what the exact figure is, but I know it's 650 plus. So I suppose when you go through 650, they probably don't count until 700. And it probably goes up in blocks of 50s, but he's above the 650 now anyway, which is
when you think of his hectic schedule as well, when he done the bulk of them.
Yeah.
You know, when you're tired, you're off a plane, you're beaten down, you've got to go do media because you're the main guy. You got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to talk to TMZ, you've got to talk to absolutely everybody. Wow.
Yeah, the amount of effort that went into carrying WWE through that period, and to still have time and make time for these kids that are terminally ill to change their world and change their life and change their day with that kind of experience speaks volumes for the man. And Hall of Famer JBL took to Twitter, and this is what he said. He said, "Few people in our history have meant as much to WWE as John Cena, the best representative one could ask for, and a terrific human being. So proud of John and all he continues to do. This is amazing." And I think that sums it up absolutely perfectly. From a guy, remember, who doesn't give out props that easy. This is a man who, I'm sure it's tough to get an old compliment off. You have to work hard for it if you get complimented by JBL. But I thought that was a terrific way to sum up the effort that this man has put in terms of changing all these people's lives. Albeit sometimes on the way out, but memories that they can cherish both before they leave the life, and probably cherish, who knows, in the afterlife, who knows. But yeah, fabulous from John Cena, and I thought that was a very positive thing to finish out our show on this week.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like JBL, like if he'd have been on in that segment when we were talking about snowflakes, he'd probably be sitting there in the corner if he was on this Zoom meeting going, "You're damn right, you're damn right."
Go back and look at his Hall of Fame speech. Probably one of the greatest Hall of Fame speeches.
Yep, offended lots of people.
Offended everyone. Everyone. So no one got off the hook. So we all got equally offended.
Except for you and me, who were sitting there watching it going, yeah. Little polite tennis clap.
That's it.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful thing. John Cena, yeah, like always been close to my heart. I mean, I watched him from day one as the prototype in OVW. Back in 2001, I believe, when I was starting to train, when he was not very good, but looked the part. And there's a man who just literally put his heart and soul into the business to learn and be as good as he possibly could. You know, he wasn't always everyone's cup of tea because he wasn't the best, you know, catch can style wrestler, or technically, you know, didn't have the, I suppose, the what's the word? Didn't have the cat-like agility of like a Shawn Michaels, or the technical excellence of a, you know, Ricky Steamboat, or, you know, but my God, he took the booze. The man literally became a machine. The prototype is actually the perfect name for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the day that Hall of Fame happens is going to be very emotional. Very emotional.
Absolutely.
it's just what a guy. I mean, like literally what a guy. And I also might just add a little quick one off the top of my head. Another happy story for anyone that's seen The Rock's Instagram. Buying Tamina a house the other day. Don't know, did you see that?
I didn't say it. Doesn't surprise me.
The Rock surprised Tamina and walked her through the doors, had his hands over her eyes, and got her a house because he'd done the same for, I think, her mom or something before that.
House, yeah, he bought her a lovely house. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he'd done the same for Tamina, just a massive house, and he had pictures of her and her dad as a kid and blah, blah, blah. Because we know, like, the stuff she's probably had to go through with the whole Jimmy Snuka thing as well, and going through all of that has probably been very, very difficult. And you could actually see The Rock getting proper emotional as well when she saw the house.
And she's kind of had a tough ride, hasn't she, wrestling career-wise?
Yeah.
It hasn't been an easy path for her either, like, you know, in terms of her career and stuff like that.
And she's very good, like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, look, talking about two great people there, The Rock and John Cena, I mean, they're almost peas in a pod, aren't they?
Yeah, we should focus more on all that feel good stuff, shouldn't we? Really, I mean, not just us, but I mean in general we should. I mean, I seen a thing the other day as well. I don't know if you've seen it with Shaq O'Neal, where he's in the Walmart or something like that. Did you see that one where he bought the kid?
No, but I heard about it.
Walks up, he's this kid's at the cash out and he's behind him. You know, apparently Shaq O'Neal now, when he goes out shopping each week, he'll pull a kid aside in whatever shop he's in and he'll buy them something. He'll buy them a gift. This kid was checking out. He said to the kid at the checker, he goes, "Have you got a bike?" And the kid says, "Nah, man." And he turns around and he goes, "Go over and ask your mum, can I buy you a bike?" He obviously went over and asked mum, comes back over, "Yeah, you can buy me a bike." So you just see him and Shaq going through the whole line of bikes, and he picks out this Mongoose mountain bike type low rider type thing. And Shaq goes, "Oh yeah, I really love that one. That reminds me of the one I had when I was a kid and all and stuff like that." Goes and buys the kid the bike. Imagine being a kid getting bought a bike by Shaq O'Neal. Like, it's just, you know.
And you know
what? Apparently he does this now every week. Every week he goes out, goes into a store, finds someone and buys them something. You know what I mean? So
I love that man as well, like a proper human being. Also, he played for my team as well, the great Orlando Magic. Shaq and Penny Hardaway, the best duo of all time. Who cares about Michael Jordan and the rest of them? Fuck them. I'm only joking. But no, like, these are lovely stories, man. You know what I mean? And that's what we need. You know what I mean? So, you know, you probably get the Snowflake Brigade going, "Why is Ian becoming soft again?" It's like, because they're jokes. They're just jokes. It's like Ricky Gervais says, they're just jokes. We want to get you mad just to bring you back down and go, we can have some fun. They're just words. We don't mean them. It's all about fun. So that's a lovely way to finish off this show compared to the other day. And Niall, I suppose we're gonna be seeing these people again within a couple of days. We're probably going to do a couple of shows this week. Obviously, when we get nearer to the pay-per-view, we'll probably concentrate on that a little bit more. But I won't say until next week, until next time. For me, Ian the Dynamo Kelly, for the shopkeeper, Niall Hogan, thank you for listening. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, @Dynamos Dozen on both, and Facebook. And if you want to reach out to the show to complain or report me, it's dynamosdozen@gmail.com. And until next time, my brothers and sisters, we love you. We are over and out.